How's it going, people? Good to see you again. Today we're going to be looking at totaling, counting, min and max, which is working out the biggest and smallest values. This is super important if you want to start getting the top marks. Very, very important skills, and these are quite often people have no idea about how to do these. So let's have a look at how we do it. The first code that we're going to do is we are going to be doing how to work out a total from 5 numbers. So what I need to do is I need to initialize this, and I'm going to do total equals 0, count equals 0. Up at the top, I don't really need the space there, so I'm going to take that out. And then I'm going to use my for loop to loop this 5 times to make it more efficient. If you don't know what a for loop is, look at my previous video. It has all this stuff about going through for loops and how they work. If not, stay with us. Let's ask for another number. So we're going to do this, int input. Please enter a number. Do our little \n. It'll turn pink if you've done it the right way round. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do total equals total plus num. Technically, we do not need this, but I'm just going to do this so that you can have a little look at it. So the total is, and it will kind of keep a running total for you. And then I'm going to do, actually no, I'm not going to do that yet. And then I'm going to do count equals count plus 1. Print the count is comma count. Okay, so if I run this, what this is going to do is this is going to keep track of and keep a running total for us. So if I, for argument's sake, if I put in 10, you can see that it says the total is 10, because what happens is it goes 0, which is what total starts at, 0 plus 10 equals 10. So that's why total is now 10. Count equals count plus 1 works exactly the same way, but it's just going to add a 1 each time. And then it goes back to the top of the loop and it asks us to enter another number, where we're going to enter in 5. And it remembers 10 from the previous one, so it goes 10 plus 5, and that equals 15. And then it remembers count is 1, so 1 plus 1 equals 2. And then you're going to go up again, 7. So 15 plus 7 equals 22. And then it just keeps going and going and going, and that will then give you the total out of 5 numbers. Okay, people, next one, which is working out the biggest and smallest out of 5 numbers, is we need to initialize the value. So biggest is just going to be equal to 0. Smallest is going to be equal to a very, very large number. So just put a load of 9s there. I'll explain that in a second. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just put our for loop. That's going to loop 5 times. Put it like that. Get our number, int input. Please enter a number. And then what we're going to do is, this is where we're going to actually have some if statements to be updating the biggest and smallest values in there. So if I do if num greater than biggest, that means that I need to replace biggest with whatever num is. So I'm going to do biggest is equal to num. Now, this is one of the few situations where I actually need another if statement here and not an elif. So this is a common problem where people will put an elif and they would actually lose a mark on this question. The reason for this is I need, when the first number is entered, at that moment in time, technically, that number is the biggest and smallest value at the same time. Because if I've only entered one number in, that can be it. So I need both if statements activated at that time. If I use an elif, it will only activate the top one. So this is where what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use an if, so they both get activated. And I'm going to use if num less than smallest equals num. And again, if we do, technically you don't need this, but if you just put the biggest value is biggest, and then print the smallest value is smallest. Okay, so this then, what that does is please enter a number. So if you see here, when I enter in, let's say 10, what happens is both at that moment in time, that is the biggest and smallest value. The reason that we had to set smallest to a very large number and not 0, that's another common mistake that happens, is the reason is if you think about how the if statement works, if that was 0, if num 10 is less than 0, so that wouldn't be activated, because the number would have to be a minus number for it to be activated. So that's why we have to set smallest to a very, very large number, because then it will actually change. If not, it will not change. And then if we do it again, so if I type in 5, you can see that the biggest number stays as 10 because the if statement wasn't activated. And then the smallest value is, so it's going to go if 5 is less than 10, which it is, replace it. And then if I put a number that's bigger, we can see that the biggest value has been replaced, and it will just go through and keep updating like that. Okay, people, here's some questions that you can have a go at. If you get stuck on these, please do message me, put a comment in the chat, or if you needed me to go through another topic, just put it in the chat and I will see if I can make a video on that for you. Anything, just message. Hope you're finding this useful, people. I'm going to put a link to another suggested video where hopefully you get even more value out of it. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to put a link in the description to our community. In our community, you get a lesson with me once a week where you get to ask me questions on exam questions you are stuck on. You also get access to our online course, which has theory questions and programming videos, exclusive lessons, which are only on that online course to help you in that, and many more benefits. So check it out. Tell me what you think. And if you want to join, reach out to me on the website.